Welcome everybody to the August 25th, 2025 regular council meeting of our fine community, the town of the Palm. We'd just like to acknowledge that we're gathered today here on Treaty 5 territories, which is the assessor, just along we got our echo going here. So we're here on at the ancestral lands of our friends of Pasquetta Cree Nation, as well as the homeland of the Red River Métis people nation. With that, I will call the meeting to order. See all councilors are in attendance, and somebody should have a resolution to adopt the agenda.
Is there any additions? Seeing none. Resolved, move self-secretary for Councillor Allen, resolved that the agenda be adopted as presented.
Any further questions? Seeing none, call the question, all in favor? Opposed, none, carried. We should have a resolution to adopt the minutes or confirmation of the minutes.
Moving self-secretary for Councillor Allen, resolved that the minutes of the regular council meeting of August 11th, 2025, and the public hearing of August 11th, 2025 be hereby approved. All statutory declarations having been provided with. There was a few minor corrections on the council meeting of August 11th. One was the correction of the name of the parade. It was OID parade. And then on their 10.1, the mayor attended a meeting. He was with Rebecca Sharkin at that, not Norway House. And 14.2-1 was the other one that was a minor change.
Yeah, minor change. We had advised admin to review the current assessment of the community to ensure accuracy, just to bring some clarity to that. Any further comments, concerns, changes to the agenda? Seeing none, call the question, all in favor? Opposed, none, carried. All right, recognition. Anybody got anything to share about our great community here in the town of the Palm? An area. There's so much going on.
You probably have.
No, go ahead. You guys can share as well.
I missed seeing you on the Broncos at the rodeo.
Yeah, I was one of the Broncos. I was a bull, actually. You guys didn't see me dressed up?
Anyway, just
You missed that, I guess.
congratulations to the Ag Society. It was well attended and weather somewhat cooperated with that.
Yeah, I know it was a great event. A lot of hours put in. Good food. Anybody else have anything?
Immigration Services had a park cleanup and
Yeah.
some food as well, and it was well attended. And it was also nice to see the RCMP out with the horses that day and
Yeah.
provide for the kids. So
Awesome.
great to see.
Anybody else?
GPCRC have their
Yeah.
street festival as well. Excuse me.
Yeah, no, that was great. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend immigration or the street festival, but I heard that was all great events for our community. I had a couple other ones. We obviously had Opaskwayak Indigenous Days, the 60th, their 60th, a great event. The parade was, I brought a couple of kids from to the parade, and it was like Halloween. We were carrying bucket loads of candy home, so it was a great event and a very good parade. Lots of great floats. Also mentioned Connor Dewar did the Northern Way hockey camp. So great hats off to our staff for getting the arena all ready. It was the ice was awesome, and I believe that was a great event that they did. And when they wrapped everything up, it was great recognition by the Manitoba Métis Federation to recognize Connor with a new sign as one of their members. So that was again a great tribute, and it's nice to see. I can't remember anybody at that level coming back and giving back so much of his time, so that was nice. The other thing I had on here is the Blizzard camp is opening up. They did their hockey camp last week, so it appears that went over really well, and their training camp is going to be starting. And then maybe for next week, but Cree Nation Tribal Health, I attended their opening this morning. With the conference to bring awareness and reduce the stigma around mental health and addictions and really try to create some, reduce some of the barriers to access mental health supports in our community. And we all know the challenges with that. So I believe there are events going on all week. So if you get an opportunity to stop by, it's a great event. And the final thing I will say is thanks to our staff. So I know we did a recognition, like we've had a few barbecues when we wrapped it up on Friday, this past Friday with our staff barbecue. I heard feedback that was the best hot dogs and burgers ever cooked before. That's what I heard, but no, again, hats off to them. I mean, it was great to get everybody together and just show the appreciation. I know they take a lot of the feedback, sometimes not warranted, and that there's things that are outside of their control, and we appreciate their continued focus on great customer service and service delivery. So thanks for that. Anybody else have any?
One thing. Just a reminder to everybody, school's gonna be starting right away
Yes,
and to slow down around the school
quite, yeah, good.
and
Good reminder.
lots of children around. So be wary, slow down.
School starts on Thursday, I believe, eh? Next Thursday.
Some will attend Tuesday.
Yeah,
Orientation, but yeah, school will be next week.
both time on Thursday or something. Yeah, so that's good.
Times look good too.
Yeah, we'll put another reminder out kind of next week to
Mhm.
remind, just to be mindful of the school years.
Okay, citizens period. We don't have, unfortunately, don't have any citizens in the room tonight. So we'll move down to dust control resolution, Lakeview Road.
Resolution number 2025-157, moved by myself, second by Councillor Atkinson, resolved that council approve $10,000, including taxes for dust control for Lakeview Road.
Any questions regarding this? This is to sort of bring the dust down out of the lake. So seeing none, all the questions, all in favor? Opposed, none?
Guess if we didn't approve it, they'd have to go and look it up.
With my straw,
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to Lakeshore Cemetery mini excavator resolution. Huh? Oh, yeah, what did I say?
Lakeshore.
Lakeside, sorry.
Resolution number 2025-158, moved by myself, second by Councillor Atkinson. Resolved the council approve the purchase of Kubota U35 4G rotary cutter trailer with delivery and contingency charges in the amount of 100,000 plus tax and shipping.
So as discussed, sort of one of the outcomes that came from the complaints we had last year, maybe not having the right tools to be able to deal with the work that's needed. And also looking at our reserves, our equipment reserves, that we were able to identify some money where we can, utilize next year's budget to replenish it. So I believe council has suggested moving forward with this purchase to be able to service the cemetery and others. Any questions? Seeing none, call the question, all in favor? Opposed? None opposed, carried. Okay, rough country basketball and tennis courts, rubberization.
Resolution number, 2025-159, moved by myself, second by Councillor Allen. Resolve the council approve the court resurfacing in the amount of 500,000 plus tax.
So there's some questions with regards to this. I appreciate Sam and Kelsey coming to explain this, and maybe you guys can share some information on this prior to we call the question.
Sure. Oh, sorry, Randy.
Just, you're gonna come up, get to it anyway, just one thing on the warranty, it looked like it had a 2 and they changed it to a 1. Why was that?
Great question.
So asphalt is normally 1 year, and I'm assuming that the asphalt company can only warranty, they're gonna warranty all of it for 1 year, but so asphalt is 1 year, so one season, one go through, so that's probably what he.
And the final covering, like I was thinking ahead of there, but say you don't get the time to do the final covering on it, and that happens to be coming next year. Whatever time.
So the asphalt will be 1 year, and then we would push that every 1 year from the date of should be substantial. So usually work doesn't start until substantial completion of the project is complete, which is what we.
Okay, so they did have a 2 year originally, and then they changed it, or?
They changed it.
Yeah, he didn't change that.
So the big question here on this is we originally budgeted 300,000, the budget came in at 500,000. Appreciate the details that were shared around where we can identify sort of the additional funding services or funding streams. So, you know, looking at the, I think that's a good option with the Centennial Park project being delayed anyways, that being able to move that over and using that funds this year for this project. So we're not waiting for two projects to get moving. We get one done, we can deal with the money situation next year anyways. And as well, it's good to see that there's a potential surplus in paving, but I would prefer us to have no surplus in paving and spend every single dollar and try to get every bit of work done we can, but I don't know if there's anything for you guys to add.
Well, first I just wanted to apologize for the short notice, for not getting the information to you in a timely manner. I know that the deadline is Wednesday. Our tender closed on, Friday at noon. So Friday was spent, tweaking. The original bid was 713,000, I think. So Sam and I spent the afternoon, tweaking our scope and trimming what we could and begging a little bit to the contractors to see what type of wiggle room we had. Ultimately, I'm hoping to get this done this year. We could push it to next year. We could apply for more grants. The whole schedule or the timing of it will likely be the same because we had to tie this, or we didn't have to. We tied this project to the paving project. I needed the paving tender to close so that we could hopefully piggyback off of the mob and demob to cut it down, so we don't pay the same company 2 times to come up here and do the same thing. The paving project, or the paving tender closed.
Later than expected, and sort of kind of bumped everything back. And then we met with the contractor, Cords, the installer of the surfacing after the paving is complete. We explored different options, like Kelsey was saying, to try to get the cost down, because the original idea was to rip everything out, redo all the base, repack everything, build everything back up.
Yeah.
Those were hundreds of thousands of dollars in cost, and Maple Leaf is willing to work with us to just kind of redesign the grading to ensure we have the water flow away. And that's where we found the majority of the savings.
Well.
So with the savings coming from the 713,580 down to what it is now, are you still getting what you want?
Yes, yeah. The difference could be in the way that the asphalt pad is graded for drainage. So instead of it being up to the National Tennis Pro Association standards.
Investment championship standard agreed.
Yeah, it'll still be to a very good standard where the water doesn't flow on the court.
Yeah, I mean, I believe this is a good project. It's barrier-free, things that we've said that we wanted to do. I think reallocating and shuffling funds around is a smart thing to do. And, you know, I would hate to be sitting around here in September next year, starting this project and losing another year. So at least we can get it started and hopefully it's up and running by spring.
And even if we wait till next year to secure all the funding, maybe more grants, still wouldn't happen until this time of year.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Right, and by then, likely the cost is going up on top of everything
Yeah.
else, so.
Any other further questions? Okay, seeing none, oh, sorry.
The only concern I have is what Councilor Hopper brought up with warranties. So let's say they got the asphalt done and then we didn't get any more of those +10 nights, which realistically come September, we're not gonna get many, right? So the likelihood we'll complete the project is pretty unlikely. Get the asphalt, get the base down. Now, that warranty expires at the same time that the new warranty goes in, so technically we're adding a warranty on top of something that no longer has a warranty. What will that do, or what assurances can we get from Maple Leaf that if the substrate was to fail because it's no longer under warranty, that the warranty is covered on the rubberization? Can we get some kind of assurances that we're not? So realistically, we do get the 2 years and not have, like I said, a substrate say, well, sorry, the warranty wore out on that, but your rubber's good.
Right,
And we're scrounging to figure out how we fix that.
That's definitely a fair question. I think, we can follow up with that and kind of get back to you, because we'll ask the question if I went from 2 to 1, and then we'll follow up to see, because like typically for most projects, the warranty period does not begin until everything is
Project is complete.
right and substantial. So theoretically, we should still have a 1 year, which actually is better for us, 1 year from the time the rubber or the.
And if we get that confirmation, I'm absolutely 100% behind it. It's just a matter of I'm worried that come next year, they say the asphalt is no longer under warranty. And now it costs us an additional $100,000 to make corrections to an unwarranty project and then have the warranty coverage begin. So
So can I make a suggestion that we, I think we still move forward with the resolution, and that if something comes back, if, you know, from what you brought up, Counselor, if something comes back that are really a red flag for Sam and Kelsey, they can sort of put the brakes on and let us know, so we don't want to wait. Okay, so seeing no further questions, call the questions, all in favor? Opposed, none, carried. Thank you, folks.
thanks, everybody.
Okay, residential lot sale, 921.
Resolution 2025-160, moved by myself, second by Councillor Allen, resolve the council authorize mayor and chief administrative officer to sign the purchase agreement with Florence Peace OZB, my apologies, for the purchase of Lot 5, Block 4, Plan 30749.
Again, I believe this was discussed in the past, similar to the other lots that were or transferred or sold in the what do they call that area? What's the name? Wood Acres, yeah, Wood Acres too, so. Hey, call the question, all in favor? Opposed? None, carried. Okay, next one, 922.
resolution number 2025-161, moved by Councillor Manage, second by Councillor Commodore. Whereas Rob White Holdings Limited submitted a variation application 2025-05 regarding the placement of a digital sign with a maximum surface area of 213.891 square feet instead of the 100 square feet. And whereas public hearing occurred on August 11th, 2025, therefore be it resolved the council approved variation application 2025-05 submitted by Rob White Holdings Limited, located at Lot A, Plan 5237.
Okay, this is the variation application that was for the large sign on the Maurice Johnson Arena. We had the public hearings. And now we're moving forward with the final approval.
One comment.
Yeah, comment, go ahead.
As asked at the public hearing, to ensure we have all the paperwork in front of us to make the best informed decisions moving forward. Hopefully we have all information. When they apply for variation, it'll say who is reviewing. Right now, it's only saying that the CAO is reviewing, but in this case, the building inspector should have also been involved, because when it's attached to the town of the Paw, it's supposed to have a building permit. Not having a complete package doesn't put complete faith that we're doing a complete job. So in the future, it'd just be nice to see council having all of the information in front of them instead of just the application.
I know that. Okay, any further questions? Seeing none, call the question, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, payrolls and accounts, 931.
Resolution number 2025-162, moved by Councillor Manage, second by Councillor Commodore. Resolve the council authorize the following accounts. Pay period number 17 in the amount of $159,379.95. general checks number 32780 to 32807 in the amount of $98,954.46. EFTs in the amount of $222,368.59.
Thank you. Any questions, with regards to the check register? Seeing none, call the question, all in favor? Opposed, none, carried. Okay. 932, culture based evaluation.
Resolution number 2025-163, moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Manage. Resolved the council authorize the mayor to sign the attached proclamation declaring the period of September 26th to October 5th, 2025 as Culture Days in the town of the Paw.
We had a sneak peek or a brief discussion today with an organizer. So what this proclamation really reads is, Culture Days, whereas cultural participation and activities enriches and defines the identity of the town of the Paw, serves as a mechanism of resiliency and recovery, and improves the quality of life of its citizens. And whereas arts and culture participation makes a vital contribution to the development and well-being of individuals and society. And whereas the town of the Paw believes that community-based cultural celebrations enhance the connections between citizens of diverse interests, abilities, and cultures. And whereas culture rises and flourishes first locally, and whereas the town of the Paw has already shown its intention to implement projects that affirm both its inclusive cultural identity and the active participation of its citizens in the cultural life of the municipality. And whereas as an annual national initiative, Culture Days exists as a catalyst that connects individuals and creators, eliminates barriers, and stimulates the understanding, appreciation, and exploration of arts, culture, and heritage, so that every individual in the country has a deeper connection with themselves, their community, and Canada. And whereas Culture Days is a national initiative and the town of the Paw has been active and a long-standing participant. So therefore, I, Andre Murphy, Mayor of the town of the Paw, do hereby proclaim that the 26th day of September to the 5th day of October as Cultural Days in the town of the Paw. So that's what it is. So with that, we will call a question. All in favor? Opposed? None? Carried. Okay. That's really my thing. Another proclamation for Arthritis Awareness Month.
Resolution number 2025-164, moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Manage. Resolved the council authorize the mayor to sign the attached proclamation declaring the month of September 2025 as Arthritis Awareness Month in the town of the Paw. More to read.
Yes, thank you, Councillor. So again, another proclamation for September Arthritis Awareness Month. So whereas community support has been critical throughout the Arthritis Society Canada's 75th year history, enabling the organization to fulfill its missions to fight the fire of arthritis with cutting-edge research, bold innovation, fury of advocacy, and the evidence-based information and patient-centered support. And whereas arthritis is not just arthritis, arthritis is serious. It causes debilitating pain, restricts mobility, and diminishes the quality of life. 6 million Canadians, 1 in 5, live every day with the fire of arthritis, and there's no cure. And without greater spotlight on this growing issue, a number of Canadians with arthritis will rise to, the number of Canadians with arthritis will rise to 9 million by 2040. And whereas during Arthritis Awareness Month this September, we seek to raise voices and awareness, and we encourage everyone who lives with arthritis and those who know and love them to fight the fire of arthritis. So therefore, I, Andre Murphy, Mayor of the town of the Paw, do hereby proclaim that the month of September be Arthritis Awareness Month in the town of DePaul and commend its thoughtful observance to all citizens. Okay, call a question. What's that? Yeah. And everybody good? Call the question, all in favor? Opposed, seeing none, carried.
I would like to add that we have every proclamation, we have this on our website. So the next list is from our website on that time, it's just good.
Okay, so resolution, sorry, for the 934.
Resolution number 2025-165. Moved by Councillor myself, seconded by Councillor Commodore. Be resolved, the council appoints Deputy Mayor Atkins to sit on the Recycle Board Committee as a member of council.
Pretty straightforward, discussed at last council meeting. Any further comments? Seeing none, call the question, all in favor? Opposed? None, carried. Okay, reports. Nothing personnel, so reports of committee.
Let's start this one, ask Sam a question on the courts again, question to be asked. Is there any risk waiting here with the final application on if there's any deterioration in the asphalt? Is there, could you check on that if there's any timelines that it should be slide right out of the asphalt?
We didn't ask, it was the supplier, the installers idea to potentially defer it, so giving us the heads up that depending on the weather at the time of paving, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
But we can roll.
Okay, museum board. Councillor Comer,
Meeting,
the meetings,
looking forward to the new one on September.
okay. So I'll probably ask you again at the end of the month, because that's just part of my routine.
Okay, fine.
Chamber of Commerce.
The meeting date changed, therefore I was unable to attend, sent my regrets, however, I do have the minutes. Most of it was kind of usual business, had a few resignations and a few additions to the board. Biggest ones to talk about, I guess, are more related to tourism. Obviously, this wasn't a great year to be touring in the north, so there will be a big push next year. We're planning a summer tourism video that the chamber will help get behind and promote. We got the RV, a lot of people, when you see the RVs come through town, usually in early October, you get a whole bunch that park at the Kikiwak. That tour is coming through on October 5th to the 8th. So that does bring a little bit of business to the town of Paul, get more people walking the streets and seeing what the town has to offer. Schedule set for the next year is kind of in place, such as the trade show and support local business initiatives. Other than that, that's the main point.
Good.
Always looking for members for the Chamber of Commerce, so it'd be nice to see the business people come out and support the chamber.
Okay, CDC, did you want to go first, or?
I left my notes, but I just, from memory, we had a meeting last week. There's been 3 applications received for the storefront, the improvement. I think the CDC is, around 4,000.
Yeah.
That will be going out for that. 3 local businesses that are doing some work. They're gonna promote that a little bit more to send, said they basically contacted every member of the Chamber of Commerce to see if they're interested. So it's not from lack of trying. So we're pushing that, also the lots that are for sale.
Rezoning of the request of rezoning of Devon Park.
Yeah, that's ongoing. He is working with the administration. Jonathan's working with the administration to get the final footprint area that we need in Devon Park to have that portion rezoned for potential developer.
So for next meeting, we should see something at this table so we can see.
Yes, like to see the map, and
Yeah.
and my comment on that is if we have to rezone a bit more than we actually need, it's fine, it'll still be used as park after.
Colliers is working with the community planning, I believe as well, working with the administration, identifying the land's sort of usage plan, that overview. So, we're hoping that by next meeting, we'll have an actual update as well on that. The Otis Group that owns the downtown mall, there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes on that. So although people may believe that, they're sitting there empty, Otis is working very hard as well as the CDC, to work on moving that, and we hope that there will be an announcement in the next month or so that will sort of show what the plan will be, with some new tenants.
You know, from what we hear, it should be very promising.
Yeah.
Be good for the town, what happens in the overall mall.
So yeah, so stay tuned for that. Okay, so there's, and then, the tax increment financing, is on committee of the whole tonight, so we'll talk a little bit about that. Destination marketing's quarterly, so there's nothing. Cedar Lake, nothing. Recycling board, Thursday, I had this move it last week. So we will be meeting Thursday at 5:15, to sort of finalize the new terms of reference and, set up an AGM in the fall. I believe that'll be on the agenda. The library boards,
Next meeting is September 9th.
KST is nothing, no youth counselor. Did I miss anybody?
So,
No.
just on the printout there, I guess it's 9.3.34, that the committees and the board members, that needs to be updated,
Yeah,
not just recycling, CDC, supposed to be on there.
yeah,
And school division as well.
yeah, we'll update that after this meeting. Okay, so, any other reports coming from council that they want to share? I do know that, we've been working on that, community safety well-being plan, so we're hoping that, that's coming to a close, that they're actioning that plan right now. And the intent is, safe community organization, I can't remember their names, but they'll come and present to council, what sort of the outcomes are, what they've come up with. Well, it seems promising. Some of the stuff that I've pre-seen ahead of time is things that we're already working on, which is good. And then I think that's all I had for that.
I guess I just had one question. Quite a while ago, I had asked the question about QIC meetings. You said we were waiting for an answer. It's been probably 4 months since my inquiry. I'm just wondering if QIC meetings will occur again or what the ruling was on that.
At the moment, it's been suspended for now, so we'll bring it up later because of some discussion that happened. So I'll bring it up later to council, so the council will be able to provide direction. But for now, we will not add any QIC.
No, I know, because we decided not to have QIC meetings, but the reasoning was because we're waiting for an answer on my question. So I'm wondering if we've ever received an answer to that question, so we can either move forward or abolish the idea of QIC meetings.
Okay,
Yeah, I think the intent was that if we had to have any meetings now, that it would be an entire council. That was, I think, the last thing we landed on. That's what I understood.
So we're abolishing the idea of QIC meetings.
Well, I think what we said is that if we're gonna have QIC, the entire council would be invited, right? That's kind of what we said. That's what I kind of agreed.
Last I remember was just, we're gonna wait for an answer from.
Yeah, well, maybe you can come back to it.
I have to strategize for QIC meeting, and we have to redefine the vision, the mission, and how to do it. I believe we did not really prepare well from management side of view. So once we've decided, I'll bring it up to council again. I'll be able to know how to do it, whether all members of the council or we're going to have a committee for each department. But for now, it's on hold.
Okay, no, that's, yeah, so we'll put that on our list to follow up on for sure. Okay, under, the reports, I do have a couple of questions. I'm glad, my two friends have stayed behind because they have the most questions. So I assume everybody had a chance to review those reports. I do have just out of a curiosity, I think the public probably wants to know, reduced speed signs, great that we got some up. When are they all gonna get up? Are they gonna get up before school starts?
Yeah, we are still, so, utility locates this summer have been a little bit challenging. Our friends at MTS and Manitoba Hydro have been, very busy. We're looking to restore power communications everywhere, so there's been a definite lag, a lag time of getting some locates. Like up to a month, we have to wait, and we tried to sell it as an emergency locate, and they hung up on us a few times, so we are still planning to have our portion. We're on schedule to still have our portion done by the end of next week.
Okay,
Some of the highways ones we're still.
yeah, I'm not too much worried about that one, I'm more the community. And then, so the other thing is, should we notify the RCMP that these signs are up? Because there's one thing about putting up a sign, but if there's no enforcement that goes along with it, then they really will not change the behaviors that we're looking for, just to make people safe.
In the past, the RCMP have, just when school starts, they do park around the schools, be visible and kind of, I guess, to deter people to slow down. So maybe ask them to do that again
Yeah.
next year.
Yeah, we can, I think it's a good idea to reach
Yeah.
out to them, sort of let them know. Yeah, it's a good idea.
The other question I had, guys, is on the update on the dehumidifier, so like, I don't, when do you expect to see a report coming from that?
So they came in, did an inspection, there were some parts that we knew that needed to be replaced, the parts have been ordered. Those components will be replaced in the next, hopefully 30 days or so.
Yeah, so what, I guess when we deferred the doing the big $1 million job or whatever it was. From their inspection, I know maybe you guys have said this already, but I don't remember, but did you find sort of maybe a possible temporary quick wins to get this thing operating?
Once we get the motherboard replaced, and there was one other component, that will kind of like shine a light on kind of where we.
Okay.
It. So it's been a bit of a process to get them to get up here, and but the company that's doing the work is actually the authorized distributor of the Desert Air Unit.
Okay.
We're just waiting on some parts now.
Which sort of takes me to the pool, like we did approve those doors a while back, has that been done? That work have been done?
My understanding is that they've been ordered. And the supply, the local installer has been tasked with that. I'll have to follow up.
Yeah, because it'd be nice to get that done before the winter again this year, like I know that we approved the door like a long time ago and it's been on your guys' list, so if there's something you need help. Sorry, I got a couple more questions, what's the permitting process of mobile homes? I don't understand, we don't have a mobile home, area, do we in town?
No, Office of Art Commissioner doesn't.
So someone had come forward, they wanted to put a new mobile home on Bagshot, I believe it was, maybe it was Reader.
Oh, right.
So they asked what the process is.
Okay.
We have a very archaic process that had certain questions and requirements. So we sort of said, okay, that makes sense, that we want to know this information. And we sort of blended it with like a building permit request. And so,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was just kidding. And then,
Well, just to answer your question, inspections of mobile homes go through the Office of Commissioner or through the consumers, whatever their office is called now. We don't do the inspection, it has to have that sticker on it to be approved.
yeah,
We would approve the placement and the zoning aspects.
correct. So previously the town was like asking for like the sticker information.
yeah,
Where was it made? What year was it made?
Yeah.
The informations, because so we sort of just kind of piggybacked off of previous.
yeah, I was reading that as something different, I was reading it as we were permitting a mobile home to get placed somewhere in town, so outside of the trailer.
Very stringent. with the
Yeah.
requirements to, especially insurance companies.
Yeah.
So it's-
And then one of the things you had there is around aging sewers and the challenges and barriers you have around that, Sam, like, so I know there's a lack of resources to deal with those issues. Any sort of thoughts on solutions for that?
It's just, so like, for instance, this year. We haven't had as many water breaks, and so we've noticed is that some of the sewer service infrastructure, especially the ones that are called no corrosion tar paper sewers. They've all reached the 50-year sort of life, so we're seeing them one by one sort of coming in. We're sort of dealing with them as they come. What we've been doing as a practice is that if it's a no corrode pipe, if the owner is willing to do their part to do the replacement, the town will repair our side. Because as you can imagine, trying to do a spot repair on an all along sewer it's very challenging to get a good connection. So we've been noticing a little bit more than normal, but we've been able to kind of knock them off one by one.
Yeah, I know, like when I was reading that as there's no resources to do the work.
Limited.
Yeah, limited resources. That's why I was sort of thinking, well, what else?
The local contractor, it's tough to find local, like if you're a homeowner, you're asking for support from a local contractor. The timing of it, the challenges of finding someone who's willing to do that work, it's very limited in our community, so we're often. Like if we're changing our side, there's some collaboration that's required with the homeowner, and there's some frustrations, I think, from that, so. We try to work with
No, it's good.
the contractors or.
And then, not in your department, I had a question for the museum, two spots on their report around concerns with loitering. I was just wondering, has anybody from the museum thought of any possible solutions for that? Like,
The museum manager brought something up regarding the possibility of fencing certain parts of the museum. And I've already encouraged you that we should have to bring that to council for our budget. And another thing that we're doing, I just told CSO to be patrolling that place every 30 minutes.
yeah, I think that's part of it, but I'm just wondering if there's something that we can do to eliminate the hanging around there and like there's nobody, we're gonna not get customers in there because of just the loitering thing at times, so. Again, I was just, when I see the concerns, I was just looking to see if we've got any thoughts on actual solutions as well, because, then the other thing I had was, from the fire department, the grass fires. So I think there was like 16 more grass fires or something this year or something like that, which is driving that, and it was all listed under mutual aid. I was just curious if that was all to deal with, the wildland fires. If that was all wildland fire stuff. That's. And then the last question I had on the reports is on the Lakeview lots. Have we followed through with the issuing of so we gave everybody the bills. Has everybody actually followed through on what we asked them to do?
I'll say like half of them. And one of them sent an email to me last week that he has ordered for, is it a mobile house or something that is coming? What kind of?
RTM.
Okay, that is coming from another place. So it's just trying to give me an update. Then the other two people, they actually advertised them for sale.
Yeah.
One of the realtor contacted me on Friday.
Yeah, I understand that, but I think that we're trying to keep everybody to have the same standard out there and the same sort of process. So if there's people that haven't paid and other people have paid, we've got to make sure that we're doing the right things. And even if you're selling your lot, if you're carrying an actual balance on your taxes, that has to be paid before you can sell or part of the sales agreement. So I just don't want us to have, holding some residents' feet to the fire on making sure they're doing certain things, and then we have other people that aren't doing anything and we're not following up on that. So we could just maybe get a report next week, maybe in camera, or next meeting in camera on just exactly where we're at. I don't know if council has any other thoughts.
On that topic, something else I'd like to see, when you look at the community safety officer's report, everything they're reporting on is unsighted properties. I'd like to see that apply to the lake as well. There's properties out there that look almost abandoned, and we should have that equal standard, not only for payment, but also for taking care of your property. You have some people that really take care of their yards, have a lot of pride, and others have essentially walked away from it. The rules apply whether you're in downtown Mopaa or at the lakefront, so it'd be nice to see a little bit of enforcement as well as there. Some of the comment or some of the language in the unsighted property speaks specifically to one property specifically about the house wrap blowing off and is no longer safe, that home is gonna get to the point where it's not gonna be even salvageable. So we need to protect them as well as doing that through wording our bylaws. And I have one other question relating to the CSOs. It's had a note, one derelict vehicle notice, Schedule C was issued. What does that mean? Because a Schedule C comes from the homeowner, not from us. So does that just mean that someone opposed the action, or is that just missed language? I was just curious.
That,
Because a Schedule C comes from the homeowner or someone that would be opposed, not from us. So I was just making sure we're doing what we should be doing to prevent blowback or stepping out of line.
I had a question about HR. In the job advertisement platforms, it's been in here more than 1 month now, asking for recommendation to use Indeed to increase, publicity. So I thought we had Indeed at one point in time.
We do.
So I'm just kind of confused as to, is access need to be granted somehow? Is there something that needs to happen in order for that to be used again?
yes, for Indeed usage, we normally use Indeed before. And for some reason, they changed their cost and became so high. So what we do is we post within certain period, like we can pay for 1 week.
Okay.
And after then, they always stop for that. Once we get all the applications, then we stop. So it's asking for longer time, and we have to have a discussion about that.
Okay.
Another question for me on the CSO report. Who does who made the report? The CSO.
The CSO report is so they give, whenever they prepare the report to me, so our new staff, the engineering assistant lady, she's the one that helps us with the.
She prepares it.
This one is on the CSO.
One question about, well, one of the questions, the other was, we can't see the stat here now, but I think it was like 14%, IPA
Yeah.
right there. How many people was 14%?
It says they're IPA is 28.
28?
Yeah.
Let's see.
So if you look at the colors, Counselor, so the dark color, first one on London person, 160,
Yeah, it's,
then the next one, 28.
And when they're doing taking the RCMP spot at the hospital, doing guarding under MHA, are we able to bill the hospital for that?
never
Yeah,
did.
we should be. Well, for one thing, we should not be doing that. Because that is a institutional safety officer's responsibility. And the provincial government was to implement those things and have them in the hospitals. And if we get tied up doing those type of things, we need to record it and send it out.
Should be done.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, you know, our CSOs were put in place by this council to address the safety downtown. We want to help out the RCMP when necessary, and, you know, not if we have to watch somebody because of, you know, they're tied up with a critical case, but that shouldn't be our sole function.
Like saying we'll be doing escorts to Winnipeg.
Yeah,
When you're billing, it should be about 3.5 times their hourly wage plus the vehicles.
yeah, bill up rate, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so that's good report, Bola, that's a good, sorry.
It didn't make the reports, but this is something that came forward. Mayor and council made a significant investment in the camera systems for public safety at our facilities. There's been a few incidents lately that we've been able to actually put to use the cameras that we do have, the rig in particular. And it may have led to some charges going forward on something that we'll get into that.
Yeah, I would really, I mean, I think council is really, you know, sort of patiently waiting to see cameras go on the fish shack, go on our downtown area, go to our parks. You know, I think that we're really looking forward to that, and I think we need to continue to push the envelope of making that being open access, so anybody can look at it and go from there.
Did the garbage receptacles come in with the shack yet?
One of them has, the second one is, still pending delivery, so,
It's installed.
hasn't been installed yet. We kind of want both of them to have the volume necessary.
Just last week, it was birds are into it, whoever else.
So those need pads, don't they? They should be bolted to the concrete pad.
Yeah, we'll have to rip it apart and have a look, but I think it could be potentially just a clear out. Heavy enough, we'll have to kind of see, but you're probably right that it's gonna need some sort of patio, so on the lease, but probably a pad.
Great, moving along, there was this CAO report, the library maintenance update, and if there's any questions with that. The One North Q2 report was sent to me, I forwarded the Mo to share with you guys, now municipalities are at least getting an update on that. Unfinished business, any comments on that? I think it's pretty straightforward, stuff that we've been talking about. Really like to put some of the stuff to bed though, especially if there's some easy stuff. I do know, eliminating problems such as Hogan and Cathedral property, I know that's been sent multiple times here, I think a few times, and is also I get called about that place quite often. It's a great, easy way to just eliminate the problem by getting rid of the trees.
We've got the grasses, so the only thing we are waiting for is to be able to send the Schedule B. Once we send the Schedule B, we know the cost to cut the trees. But once we send the Schedule
Who owns the property? The Crown,
B,
right?
each is the crown.
Yeah, so just cut the
We've
trees.
sent it, yes, but before we can add it to their property tax, we have to send the Schedule B and wait for the time.
Who are you sending it to?
It's Majesty the King.
Mark Carney. We know the thing is that there's certain things, I think there's certain things we just gotta do and show some urgency on that. And, because it's things that we can control, and if we have to send the bill to them later, whether we're following the rules or not. And if they disagree to pay it, then we can sort of escalate that in another matter. Because they're not maintaining their property and they need to be, and it's causing a lot of problems for our residents in that area. So,
The cost for cutting the trees is about 3,500 or 6.
yeah, so,
I don't want to dispute what you're saying, but however, our bylaw does allow us to cut time short, it no longer has a time frame. They could send a Schedule A and a Schedule B within 10 days of each other. Once that's sent out by registered letter, we could be in there 10 days or 5 days later cutting everything, and we followed our process. So 2 weeks maximum, we could have that done. I would hate to have us saying, why did you go and do this? It's easy to follow our process, get that Schedule B out, no timeline on it. And that way, as long as it's sent by registered letter, doesn't matter who it went to, as long as we have proof that it was sent, give them their 5 days to address it. If not, the following Monday, we're in there trimming it.
Okay.
okay. So moving along, everybody's seen the RCMP report. So I guess some of the highlights there for people that are, our assaults were up by 14%. Break and enter was up by 17%, which is kind of the two high, but the two high ones. And if you look at the Intoxicated Person Detention Act, shows in the report that it was actually down by 9%. So I still think there's a lot of activity, and a lot of it's in the downtown area. So that's sort of, if anybody wants to look at those reports. So if you look at the RCMP other report around vacancies, so you can see that there's 5 vacancies that are people aren't here, and then 2 that people are here or just off for short periods of time. So it's 7 people, 7 officers that are not here. Keep in mind, our officers that we have doesn't mean we're running short, they're running overtime, they're bringing in officers for other communities, and the local guys aren't leaving us short. Okay. Seeing that, let's move to the issue sheet. Oh, sorry, gotta go and move into, no citizens here. Move to committee of the whole, please.
Resolved that we do now move ourselves into the committee of the whole with Mayor Murphy and the chair to discuss matters requiring our attention.
So the subdivision for the Friendship Center, I think we've talked about this. for
Yeah.
seven years.
Yeah.
So if we could just, I agreed with council, with the recommendation from the staff, let's just sign it off and be done with it.
So, lawyer just contacted me now, a few minutes before the meeting, said there's no need for public hearing for this, but there is need for resolution to be able to do the transfer. Sure, both right from planning office and our lawyer contacted. Just
Okay. So yeah, just bring us the resolution next meeting and we'll sign off on it. I don't think.
Yeah.
So then moving along, tax increment of financing, so I think we've been talking about this. So these are the sort of the ideas with regards to sort of things that were created by government of Manitoba, and so in the simplest terms that I can explain it to, and I'm not by no means an expert on this, is that how tax incremented financing works is that you identify zones within your community that you would include into this tax incremented financing or TIP areas. And so if you look at that report, there's 3 or 4 areas that have been identified: downtown, sort of another area, Wood Acres area or something, Clearwater Lake. So off the top of my head, I don't know them, but let me just open the bylaw real quick and tell you. So if you look at the bylaw, there's a downtown commercial area that's circled. There's Wolf Willow and Grace Lake Industrial Zone. There's Wood Acres 2 residential zone. And then there's the Town of the Paw Airport zone. So there's the 4 zones. So how it works, my understanding of how it works is everything has to get approved by council and through the government. But how it works is that, say I own a property that's worth, the property value is, or my operations worth $100,000. So I pay taxation based on 57 mill rates, towards that tax times 65%, and I get a tax that I pay for that property. And if you remember our taxation, and I'm gonna try to remember off the top of my head, but our taxation, if you break it down, like there's, the total is like 57.687, and RCMP was like 15. I think the school is like 14 or 20, something like that, mill rate, somewhere in there. So it sort of breaks down and then the rest comes to the municipality. So what a tax incremental financing does is say, this individual is gonna upgrade his business and he's gonna take his business from 100,000, and once his investment's done, it's gonna be worth $1 million. So you get an actual difference between the 100 and the million, about $900,000. So in a regular taxation world, is that you would be taxed on $1 million now, so that would include your school tax and all the other taxes. What a tax increment of financing does, from my understanding, is that it's the difference between your original taxation, so you're paying the 57 on the original investment, original property, the original assessed value, 100. But on the new assessment, the 1 million, which would be the $900,000 difference, they back out to school tax. So instead of paying 57.687 on the total amount, now you're paying the municipal portion of that tax minus the school portion, whatever that mill rate is on the school. And that becomes your tax increment and financing. So if you think about it now, I could look it up. I don't remember off the top of my head, but let's say the school tax is 20. So now your mill rate, instead of paying on that additional investment, you're only paying a mill rate of 37.8 instead of the 57.8, because the school portion is pulled out. What you do with the school portion now is you actually move that into reserve. And this all has to be approved by, every deal has to be approved by the provincial government. You move that into an actual reserve. And you can use that now to either return it to the investor, so as a tax break, right, over a certain period of time. And you can decide the period, whether it's 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. And you can also determine how much of it you're giving back. You could give back all of it, or you could give back a portion of it. Say you give back like 80% of it, and you take 20%, and you leave it in that reserve for the next development. So you can, there's some flexibility in here. So what I'm suggesting that we do with the information we have today, because I'm sure there's some gaps in it, and I'm sure that there's probably some things that may have been missed. I'm gonna ask if our administration, if council agrees, sends this to the assessment branch and the government to see if we're on the mark or if we're missing something. Unless council doesn't wanna have anything to do with this, and then we'll just close it down right now and not worry about it anymore.
And send it.
Great tool. Great, send it off and see where there's any flaws.
And then again, we have to bring it back anyways. We would have to pass a resolution once we get it all said and done. So if you think about this, there's zero impact on the municipality. And when you really think about it, is that if I'm upgrading my business and I'm gonna double the size of it, and I really have no impact on the school. If I was gonna bring a new factory in town where, I'm gonna bring in 100 families, that's a bit of strain on the school. But if I'm gonna build an apartment building, which really is not gonna add more people in the community, it doesn't really do anything with the school strain. But that can always, and it always has to be reviewed by the government, so. I guess we're asking, if it appears that council agrees, Bola, if you could move this forward to your staff, and if we could get it sent to government and see what else is needed. And we can go from there. Everybody okay with that? Okay. Okay, 14.3.2. B City. So I did ask this question regarding the B City app. And I'm not sure how many counselors use it. I do use it. Whenever somebody comes to me and complains, I use the app.
Are you the frequent user?
Probably one of them, yeah. The last upgrade that they did, when I went into it, it's not super user friendly. And so I started thinking, well, how many people are even using this? And what's the cost of it? And that's the cost, 8,300. Now, I think that, I'm not sure if canceling is the right approach right off the hop. Because we've created this pathway or this link to our community that says, here's how you can enter complaints. But I'm not sure we're getting $8,300 worth of value.
We need to promote it.
So, for what I brought this, I asked Bola to put it forward just for your guys' information, and what do you want to do?
So let the contract run on.
I don't think we're getting $8,300 worth either. That said, after the initial rollout, I also haven't seen any advertising for it either to encourage people to sign up, how they sign up, or get a gap, anything about it. It's, if you had it in the initial setup, then you know about it. I have it on my phone, I do use it. But a lot of people I've mentioned it to weren't aware of it. So we'd like to see an effort to advertise it before we.
When is the contract run out?
October 2026. So I got 14 months here. Let's just see what kind of sign up we have in 6 months.
Yeah.
Decision about.
That's a good
Do we have a
approach.
QR code posted where people pay their bills? Cause if they could like scan a QR code, then they could. I don't know.
Yeah, they could download it automatically.
So we do have ample time to try and wrap it.
Yeah, I mean, if we already paid for it till October, then we might as well try to get some value out of it and make that decision and closer to the end of next.
Have we paid from up till October 2026?
Yes, that's.
So again, I just wanted to share, and then again, if council, if there's some people that don't have it, I'd suggest you download it and try it, and I do use it when somebody complains to me, and I'll typically put it in a complaint. I'll show them how to use it and then put in the complaint.
Agreement heard of it, seen this.
Okay, airport fuel sales, thanks for that, Bola. I was curious about the cost, so even after the stuff that was purchased, looks like we are still into the positives for $243,000, so that's great news. I know Trevor, he likes to spend money over there. Well, I'm happy about that, especially when it comes to improving our facilities. So I don't see anything else. There's nothing under personnel. So what I would say to everybody, we have a couple of items to deal with in camera. There's nothing, there'd be no actions. We appreciate everybody's time. We hope to see you out. Please, if you see one of your counselors around, please ask any questions you might have for the community. Have a great night.
Resolved that we now move ourselves into the encounter portion of the committee of the whole with Mayor Murphy and the